The Forest for the Trees, a story of a man who lived in a tree. There once was a man named Omar that lived in a tree that sat on a hill. It was a pretty fancy tree and a pretty tall hill. Probably the most famous tree in all of the land of Utopia. I tell you why, but it's kind of hard to explain. Every day people came to see his tree from all over the world. From the bottom of the hill, they loved to take pictures to post to their Facebook pages. They hardly ever got close to Omar because of the hill and all. But he didn't mind because he was really getting the hang of it. You know, being sad and lonely and unappreciated by thousands of people all over the world. Besides, the pay was good, this was all he knew, and he had a routine, so whatevs. Every day, work on a tree and sing songs. Oh yeah, he loved to sing songs. Dark and depressing, slightly suicidal songs.
This big old tree of mine, I traded for a lifetime supply of wine. Oh.
So, what more can a man ask? This was his life, until one day a visitor must have left a gift at his tree stump. A bright lantern with a note that said, "Please shine brightly." He tried not to look at this, tried to ignore this, tried to push this aside, tried not to encourage his pyromaniac tendencies. It's safe to say it was an unwanted gift, until a very dark night came. It's no scientific mystery that it was then when he saw the light. Then of course he loved this, couldn't take his eyes off this. He questioned why he never had this before. He tried to cuddle with this. He wrote a song about this.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention he wrote that song. He sang that song every day. That song became a YouTube sensation. He went from creepy guy in awesome tree to awesome tree with singing creepy guy. Omar loved it. This lantern changed his life because he started making his own lanterns. He made small ones and big ones, fancy ones, and slightly inappropriate ones. Soon, he'd have more lanterns than he had tree, and he'd have to guess if people were coming to see the works of his meticulously manicured branches or the glory of the lights that illuminated it. The lanterns really made the tree more glorious than it ever was before. It had a new purpose. The brighter the tree got, the more you could see Omar, and Omar had never been noticed before. So, life was good. Real good. Until the day he woke up to find his tree burned down. Apparently putting thousands of lanterns in a tree is a bit of a fire code violation. Omar began to cry. I mean, really cry. For hours he cried, until he looked up and saw the people, still there, watching from a distance. It was the first time he had ever really saw them. For the first time, they weren't just dark figures in the distance. They were dark figures in the distance that were crying with him. They were just like him. Maybe they were crying because the tree was gone. Or maybe they were crying for him. Nonetheless, they were crying. Only he was surrounded by the most glorious arrangement of lanterns known to man. Or at least the most glorious arrangement of lanterns to the people that were surrounded around his tree every day. It was in that moment that he realized the lights were never for the tree at all. And they weren't for him either. But for the people that came to see them. Not to see from afar, but to hold in their hands. After all, what good is observation if you can't actually experience the thing? So he did just that. He walked down from the hill that founded the tree and gave away his lanterns one at a time. And he said to each of them, "Please shine brightly." And that's the story about the man that lived in a tree and wrote the song, "This Little Light of Mine." The Forest for the Trees.